Hello everyone, I hope everyone are doing fine. So today we are going to learn about errors and exceptions in Python. So let us see. So first let us see what is an error. Okay, so error is nothing but we made certain mistakes while doing or writing our code, right? So these are the some of the errors which will be occurred. So there are two types of errors, that is syntax errors and another one is logical errors. Okay, so when the Python program gets terminated as soon as it encounters an unhandled error. Okay, so if an error is occurred, then the Python program execution will be stopped automatically and it terminates totally. Okay, so errors can be broadly classified into two classes, that is syntax errors and logical errors. Syntax errors are nothing but the errors which occurs due to the mistakes in syntax. Okay, syntax, that is nothing but a proper structure need to be followed in order to execute the code properly, right? So let us see an example of a syntax error, that is if a is greater than 3. Okay, so here and colon is missing. Okay, so colon is missing, that's why this is a syntax error. Okay, so according to syntax the colon need to be present. Okay, and we will be getting this message on our terminal, that is syntax error, and we will get invalid syntax. Okay, here a colon is missing after an if statement leading to syntax error. Okay, and now let us see what is an exception. Errors that occur at runtime after passing the syntax text are called as exceptions or logical errors. So let us assume that you have written a perfect code. There is nothing but perfect code in the sense in the syntax part. Okay, so the syntax is everything perfect, and the what do you say, the interpreter did not encounter any error while checking the total code. Okay, so that is nothing but the syntax error is not obtained. Okay, and next, when you run the code, and in case if you do any logical error, then it leads to exception. Okay, so after passing the syntax test, the errors which occur are known as exceptions, okay, or logical errors. Okay, for instance, they occur when we try to open a file that does not exist. Okay, so in files we have seen that if we try to open a file which does not exist, we'll be getting this error, that is file not found error, and zero division error. So for example, if you are trying to divide a number with 0, it is not possible, right? Anything divided by 0 is infinity, that is not defined. So we will be getting this error. What is the name of the error? Zero division error. Okay, so syntactically it is correct, but logically these are wrong. So that's why they are known as exceptions. Okay, so whenever these types of runtime errors occur, Python creates an exception object. Okay, so because the error is occurring at a runtime, that is while the running of the code, it is known as runtime error. Okay, if it is not handled properly, it prints a traceback to the error along with some details about the why that error is occurred. Okay, on terminal we'll be getting a message that along with some of the details what has gone wrong. Okay, so these are the different types of exceptions. That is, first one is index error, when the wrong index of a list is retrieved. For example, in a list of length 5, we are trying to access a eighth element in the list. The length is 5, we are trying to access eighth element. It is not defined, right? Eighth element is not at all present. There are only five things in list. So we'll be getting index error. And assertion error, it occurs when an assert statement fails. We'll be seeing what is the assertion error and what is the assert statement in the coming thing. Okay, and attribute error, it occurs when an attribute assignment is failed. Okay, and import error, it occurs when an imported module is not found. So for example, we have seen in the modules and packages concept, and we try to import modules, we use import keyword, right? So import math, import random, right? So for example, if you write import xy, some the module which does not exist. Okay, so then this error occurs. It occurs when an imported module is not found. Key error, it occurs when the key of a dictionary is not found. Okay, so when we try to access an element from the dictionary with using key, and the key is not found, we'll be getting this error, key error. Okay, name error, it occurs when the variable is not defined. There is nothing but when we try to access, for example, we have defined x and y, and in the print statement we write print z. Z is not at all present there, right? So then we will be getting name error. Next, memory, It occurs when a program runs out of memory. When the program runs out of the memory in runtime, then it is known as memory error. Okay, next, type error. It occurs when a function and operation is applied in an incorrect type. So for example, let us take a list, and list A and list B. Okay, in list A there are some elements, and list B there are some more elements. So when we try to multiply two lists with uh, some elements present in both of the lists, then we will be getting type error. So because we can multiplying two lists is not at all defined, right? How will we multiply two lists? We can multiply the elements present in two lists separately, but we cannot directly multiply two lists. So, okay, so that is type error. And try and except block. In order to handling these all kind of exceptions, we will be using this try and except blocks. Okay, so handling exception with try, except, and finally. We can handle error by try, except, finally method. We write unsafe code in try, fallback code in except, and final code in finally block. That is nothing but when we are writing some risky code, we will be writing that code in try block. And if for example in the code written in the try block is failed, then the backup code, that is nothing but fallback code, is written in except block, and final code is written in finally block. Final code is nothing but it will be executed whatever the circumstances that are given the risky code is executed, or except block is executed. Okay, so let us see an example. So try except in Python. After seeing this, let us see an example. Try and except statement is used to handle these errors with our code in Python. The try block is used to check some code for errors. That is, a code will be written inside the try block, and we can write anything in that one. For example, if the code doesn't make sense, or the logic written in the try block is not correct, then the statements inside the except block will be executed automatically. Or else, if the statements are correct in the try block, then those statements will be executed directly. Okay, then the statements will in except block will not be executed. Okay, so this is the syntax: try colon, and in the indent, give a indent place in the next block, and write some code, and parallel to this one, write except colon, and write the backup code. That is nothing but if this code is not logically correct, then these statements will be executed. Okay, so now let us open our Visual Studio Code. Okay, so now let's open a new file. Let us save it as try except one.py. Okay, so first let me show you how this error occurs. Okay, so let us take x equal to 5, y equal to 0, and let me try to print x divided by y. Control plus S so that the code will be saved, and let us try to run this one. See, we are getting some error, that is 0 division error and division by 0. Okay, so it is clearly mentioning that you are trying to divide a number with 0. It is not allowed, so that's why it is throwing 0 division error. So in order to minimize these errors and write the risky code inside a try block, so Python has introduced try and except block. So what you're going to do is just type try and put a colon, and next write your risky code: x equal to 5, y equal to 0, print x by y, and next except, put a colon, and write any alternate code. That is nothing but when these statements cause an error, the statements inside this block will be executed. Print, let us just print, you cannot divide a number with 0. Now let us save this, and let us try to run this one. We're getting a message, that is, you cannot divide a number with 0. You can write anything in the except block. Print, this is second line, and There you go. Okay, so now let me show you what will happen if the statements inside the try block are correct. Let us just make it 1 and let us try to run it. We're getting the output. That is nothing but 5 divided by 1 is 5. So these statements are successfully executed. So these statements will not be executed. Okay. So since the statements inside the try block are correct, these statements are executed successfully, and after that one, nothing will happen. Okay. So this is zero division error. Okay. So you can also write the error name here, zero division error. Okay, so that is nothing but try to print these statements. If in case zero division error occurs, then print these statements. So in this sequence, we are giving the instructions to the Python interpreter. Okay, so let us keep 0 here and let me just show you, confirm it. It is running perfectly. Okay, so I hope you guys understood what are the basics of try and except block. Okay, so now let us also see the index error. Okay, so let us just write here zero division error, and let us write index error. Okay, so now let us try to print. Let us remove this statement first. Try colon, and let us take a list L equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 3 comma 4 comma 5, and let us try to print interval of 8, and let us create a except block, and let us print list in. Let us write something, given index is not present in the list. Okay, now let us run it. See, first we are getting this message, you cannot divide a number with 0. That is nothing but this error has occurred. So the statements under the except block are executed. That is nothing but you cannot divide a number with 0. And after that, it is going to here, this try block, try, and L equal to, we have taken a list, and we are trying to print 8th index. But what is it? Only up to 4 indexes are present here, right? That is nothing but list length is 5. That is nothing but 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 indexes, up to 4 index it is present, but we are trying to access 8th index. It is not at all present, right? So that's why it is creating an index error, and in order to handle that exception, we are creating an except block, and we are printing given index is not present in the list. We can also give the error name here, that is nothing but index error. Okay, now let's run it. We got the same output. And in case if you give the wrong error name here, you will be getting the same error. That is nothing but index error. Okay, so make sure you give the right error name here. Okay, index error. And now let us see name error. Name error. Try. Let us take x equal to q equal to 1, w equal to 2. Print. Let us try to print e. Okay, so we did not even what do you say, defined e. Okay, and now we are trying to print e, and let us write except, and let us print is not defined. Now let us run it. We got 3 statements, that is you cannot divide a number with 0, given index is out of the list, and e is not defined. And we can also specify the error name here, right? There is nothing but name error. Okay, so let us see. Now let us also see an import error. Okay, So let us just push this down. Import error. Import ABCDEF. Okay, and let us put this inside a try block. And what shall we do is accept import error and print given module is not found. Let us run it. There you go. First we got given module is not found. So why it is coming? Because ABCDF module is not found in the Python anywhere. Okay, and so that's why it is getting the statements executed inside the except block. That is nothing but except import error. Okay, so that is nothing but it is just accepting import error if this is not correct. So that's why the statement inside the except block are executed. Next, this is zero division error, this is index error, this is name error, and let us also see type error. And let us take try L1 equal to 1 2 3, L2 equal to 4 5 6, and let us try to print L1 star L2. Okay, so before putting them inside the try block, let me show you what error it will give. Okay, let us just run it. Type error. Okay, so it is cannot multiply sequence by non-enter type of list. That is nothing but we cannot directly multiply list. Okay, so that's why we need to write inside the try block and put except, that is next type error, and print. You can write anything here. You cannot multiply two less. There you go. We got the output. Okay, so this is the various types of errors, the exceptions which we handle. Okay, so now let us open a new file. Functions and exceptions. So let us write a program that a try and except block inside a function. Okay, so let's create a function def, and let's just pass something. Let us take a number n, and now try printing let us take x comma y, x slash y, except print cannot divide a number with 0. Okay, so how do we call this function? Just write the function name and pass the variable parameters. There is nothing but let us first pass 10 comma 5. Now if we run it, we're getting the output. Now let us check the except case. That is nothing but y equal to 0, 10 comma 0. Cannot divide a number with 0. Okay, so this is how we use try and except block in inside a function. Okay, so for example, if you want to handle an exception created inside of one function to be handled in another function. Okay, that is nothing but if an exception is raised inside the function 1, let us change it into function 1, and the exception raised here should be handled in function 2. How will you do that one? Just put define, put another function that this function will handle, and let us just print exception is handled by second function. Okay, so you can also make function calls inside the except block. Just put function name. Okay, let's just run it. For this one, for first function call, we're getting the perfect output. What is that one? Print x slash y. Okay, we are getting 2 as answer. And for the second set, 10 comma 0, x takes 10 and y takes 0, and we are trying to print 10 slash 0. That is impossible, right? It is not defined. That's why it will go inside except block, and it will call the what we have written inside except block function 2 and parenthesis. That is nothing but function call. Okay, so this function is being called. That's why this statements inside the function will be executed. Okay, so this is how you use try and except blocks. And let us see what else. Try and except, and this is else clause. Okay, so let us see else clause now. So in Python, you can also use the else clause and try except block, which must be present after all the except classes. Okay, else clause is an optional block. We need not to write it mandatorily. Okay, so we can also write else clause. The else clause will execute only if the no errors are occurred inside the try block. Okay, so if no errors are occurred inside the try block, then the statements inside the else block will be executed. Okay, so the syntax is try some code except executed if error in the try block, or else execute if no exception. Okay, let us put control plus n and let us create new file. Try except else.py. Try. Let us take name error as example, x equal to 5. Print z except name error. Z is not defined. And now what shall we do is else print this is else block. Okay, so let us run it. Z is not defined. Only one statement is executed. Why the else block is not executed? Because else block will be executed only if no errors are occurred inside this block. So for example, let us just print x, and let me show you what will happen. X is being printed successfully, and because there are no errors occurred inside this block, that's why else block is executed. Okay, so I hope you guys understood what is the else block. So else block will be executed only if the code inside the try block contains no errors. Okay, so this is how you use else block. And we are left with assertion statement and block without exception, and instantiate exceptions, and we'll be seeing the final block as well in the next lecture. Okay, so thank you everyone.